So here's the deal.
My name is Jared. I'm a sophomore here in the CMU Honors Program. And what got us started on this project was living in Larsler Hall and taking honors classes with other students and noticing that it was not very diversified in the kinds of students that we're living with and taking classes with.
Our research was focused mainly on honors and diversity. We looked at 3 things, including agency and how it relates to students, privilege, and what exactly diversity is. As we furthered our research and did more interviews, we decided to focus strictly on what exactly diversity is as it pertains to the honors program.
My name is Taylor, and I'm also a sophomore in the honors program at CMU. When you look at the honors program, it's almost all white and predominantly female, and all the statistics confirm that. We were curious if this was a problem that was unique to Central or maybe part of a larger problem. Also, going into this project, we wondered why this phenomenon is occurring, and maybe even more importantly, is it having positive or negative effects? And do we have a responsibility to change it?
As a freshman in Larsler Hall, I didn't really notice a lack of diversity, racial or ethnic or otherwise, until the end of the year, and even then I didn't really realize it was or think it was a problem. But now that I'm a sophomore resident assistant in Troutman Hall, which is home to the Multicultural Advancement and Lloyd Coffer Scholars, which are predominantly inner-city minority students, I really noticed a huge disparity between minority students and then middle-class white students here in Larsler and the honors program altogether. And one thing that really shows this huge difference is when I come from Troutman over to Larsler for a meeting or something, and all of my residents are minority students, and I come here and everybody is middle-class white. So after seeing that, that's what really pushed me into wanting to research this project.
But before we get into what exactly diversity is, we feel you should know who we're talking about and get to know what the honors program is and who the students in it are.
Central Michigan Honors Program was founded in 1961. It's home to both the Centralis Scholar Program, the Honors Scholar Program, and the National Scholarship Program. The program houses about 800 students, which makes up about 4% of CMU's on-campus student population.
When we apply to an honors program, what we're really saying is students who want to be engaged with something that has higher expectations, different demands, something a little bit different than other people might otherwise be thinking about.
The vision statement includes serving the university by fostering a diverse community of scholars committed to academic excellence, intellectual engagement, and social responsibility. The mission statement reads, providing high academic ability students with unique educational opportunities and experiences, the CMU Honors Program challenges students to aim higher and to achieve more academically, personally, and professionally for the greater good of our disciplines, our society, and our world.
It means I hold myself a higher standard.
As a first-generation college student, I really didn't know what the university was. I didn't know what I was about to learn other than what I learned in the classroom, but just so much more.
Being unique. Like, you can have the same topics, but you learn them in such a unique and in-depth way that it made you honors.
I really think that my experience at Central would be nothing without the honors program. So.
Now that we've learned what it means to be honors, let's take a look at these faces of honors again. See if you can notice a pattern. Do you notice a lack of diversity at all?
So we did some research to see if our observations were correct, and here's what we found. On Central's campus alone, 80% of our students are white and 20% are minority students. Then when it comes to CMU Honors students, it changes a little. A larger disparity. 93% of the students are white and 7% of the honors students are minorities.
We talked to Fame Camarina about the statistics of the honors program, and he really opened our eyes to some of the reasons to why it's happening the way it is right now.
See, the thing is, no student of real privilege comes to this campus. Let me say that again. No student of real privilege comes to this campus. No child of a CEO is ever going to send their child to Central Michigan University. The average student that we're admitting to the university right now in honors, their choice is University of Michigan with almost no scholarship or little scholarship, or Central Michigan Honors with some kind of scholarship offer, a big scholarship, a medium scholarship, but some kind of scholarship offer.
So in talking with Fame, it made us curious about how this trend is happening in other colleges as well. And we looked up some statistics at U of M, which is our main competitor, to see if it's happening there as well.
We took a look at U of M's demographics, and when you compare their general campus population, there's a more equivalent representation of minority versus white students. But then take a look at their honors representations, and there's an even larger disparity than in the Central Michigan University Honors Program.
So you think honors should make it a goal to get more diversity in terms of race in the program?
I believe that it would be a really nice idea if that happened, but I also feel that because of the demographic of CMU itself, it's really hard to do such.
You know, the majority of our population and our population of people of color live in this part of the state. So I think it's shaped by more by the community than the honors program itself. I think honors has tried to do a good job.
Looking beyond just ethnicity and race, we decided to look at gender as well because of it being a visible form of diversity. This was something that not only our team, but also those we interviewed noticed. While on Central and U of M's campuses as a whole, males and females are about represented equally. Yet in both schools' honors programs, women are favored more than men in representation.
Actually, I've looked at research on that, and over the years, overwhelmingly, every year, we always have more women than men.
What do you think that could be?
Honestly, I think that women feel more social pressure to be involved in honors type activities to prove that they are competent.
You know, what is the nature of the underrepresentation of men in the honors program? I find it hard to believe that it's because there aren't enough qualified men who apply for the Centralis Scholarship. One of the respondents in my students' research said that maybe it's because men who are candidates for the Centralis Scholarship instead choose to go to schools like Michigan State or the University of Michigan rather than come to CMU to be in the honors program. And I think that that kind of thing should be more explored. We should learn why we don't have more men in the honors program and see, you know, what we need to do to address that.
Nationally right now, female achievement is higher than male achievement, which is intriguing because, again, women still don't yet understand at this level to what degree societally they're going to face oppression systematically at stages that go beyond this. The real question is, why are males not achieving in the ways that males are used to? Or is it that females are achieving in ways that they did not used to? So, do we think it's a CMU problem? No. Do we think it's part of a national trend? Absolutely.
It's definitely needs to be a lot more than just race genders.
So after looking at the statistics, we realized that the big issue we're basically looking at is how is our lack of diversity in the CMU Honors Program an issue? But after talking to students and professors, we realized that not everybody has the same definition of diversity. So this realization really pushed us to define what diversity really is in today's day and age, and how does one's definition affect our view on creating diversity within the university.
A group that has a mixture of race, religion, gender, I guess sexual orientation, a conglomeration of all of those different things.
When I think of diversity, that's funny. Well, I'm a Mac scholar, so I legitimately, we are called the diversity warriors of campus. So when I think of diversity, I think of every kind of difference that a person can have. If it's from height, ability level, age, gender, sexuality, all of that come to mind when I think of diversity.
Diversity seems so normal to me that it wasn't until I left California that I even understood the question. And so, ethnic, racial, social class, all those other kinds of issues, I saw it all. It wasn't until I went to the Midwest and the East that I began to see how black-white things become in this part of the country, for instance, and how little people really are able to understand the diversity of diversity. There's a sense of seeing it only in one kind of way, and I can see where people have special meanings and problems and issues here.
You have to kind of put those together, social class and diversity, because personally where I'm from, it's from a lower social area, and also it's predominantly black. So our school was it sounds bad, but it was the ghetto school of like our area. And because of that, even though I excelled in high school, I did not have the skills that I wanted to have or that I needed to have to prepare me for college or even the honors program. So when I came in and I like jumped feet first, completely dived in, and I drowned in all of this information and all of these things, and I just was not prepared to do such things.
First-generation college students face many of the same issues as low-income and ethnically diverse students when it comes to college. And in fact, only 47% are said to graduate with a bachelor's degree, according to Scheffler and Sherry's research.
I should be fighting for a low-income student from a rural community, first generation. We are seeking diversity, always. And we're conscious of ethnicity and race as part of our tracking. We're conscious of gender as part of our tracking. We're also conscious of income. The percentage of our students that are Pell Grant eligible is 1/3. The percentage of our honors incoming students that are first generation is 1/3. The percentage of U of M incoming first year students that are first generation is less than 10%. Now just think about that for a moment. Okay? So we are seeking diversity always.
But at the same time, we have to look at where we are as CMU and what we can do well. And I think targeting students who are first generation college students, students where the financial aid package will benefit them, is a really smart way to go.
Those who we interviewed brought up a very interesting sociological concept called intersectionality. This is the belief that oppressions are interlinked and cannot be solved alone. The challenges faced due to the diversity of race, income status, being a first generation college student, and more are all very interconnected. We learned that each of these perspectives bring a very valuable aspect of diversity to the honors program and to the college campus as a whole.
From our interviews, we found that an overwhelming majority agreed that the honors program is doing the best they can with the demographics of students from CMU that they have to work with.
Yeah, to be honest, when I look at the demographic makeup of Central, I don't think it's extremely diverse in the first place. And so I think it would be unrealistic for our expectations to be, oh, we're going to have all of this diversity once again, which is a undefined term. I'm not really unhappy with it.
I think that Fane Camarena, who's your major director, I think being a person of color himself, I think he's pushed honors into an area of more multi-ethnicity. I think he's, with his various activities, I really think he's given honors a chance to branch out. That's my perception, at least, with this director. So I think honors has done a good job of reaching out in this respect.
While there is some disparity between CMU as a whole and the program itself, they are very aware of this fact and are always making positive steps to increase the diversity of the program, though not always in the traditional sense.
I think it's a really good strategy. Maybe it could be my personal experience. I'm passionate about education inequity. I think those people from low-income communities, or they are first generation, they are most likely being ignored, and people have different expectations for them, which is definitely it's just so wrong. So I think it is definitely right to put a high emphasis on them.
One thing we found that the honors program does quite well is helping those first-generation college students to transition into the foreign environment. They aim through first-generation ambassadors to coach first-generation students to use the resources available on campus so they can still have a support system that other students might receive back home.
Again, I want to go back to, I sometimes worry that we de-emphasize the diversity of diversity. And so I keep hoping that Lars Lear especially, the honors more generally, finds ways to celebrate the unique diversity of people in other kinds of ways. And so I appreciate if we have a feminist music night, celebrating. Those are wonderful things. Anything that we can do that broadens students' perceptions of themselves and their place in the world, especially as it relates to inequality and an understanding of those that are different. Those are powerful moments, and I think those are very valuable.
So it has to be a full court press versus just sort of fishing for students to have numbers up on a tally board.
After weeks of research and interviewing professors and students alike, here is our take-home point on the diversity of the honors program.
All right. Do you think society's obsession over diversity is excessive?
Actually, I don't. I think it's probably late in coming to a certain extent. And I don't know if I would even call it an obsession. I think we need to recognize the fact that, well, within your lifetime, the kids going to school are going to be mainly people of color. I don't know what year it is, but it's coming very soon that most of the kindergartners are going to be people of color. I mean, it's happening. We gotta, and we're a bit maybe resistant and isolated here in this part of the state, but I think we need it, and it's healthy.
So what was our kind of final deal here?
Well, this whole study into diversity really raised more questions than it answered.
True. I think what we found is that we believe that more research is really needed to uncover the truth about achievement trends in males versus females today, in order to solve the mystery really surrounding the disproportionate number of females within the honors programs nationwide.
Definitely. And while we did find a pretty large demographic disparity in terms of race and gender in the CMU Honors Program, we learned that diversity is much more than just simply black and white or male and female.
For sure. I think all in all, it was looking into the diversity of diversity, kind of like Fame said, such as factors like first-generation students or low-income students that really opened our eyes to the bigger picture diversity.
True that.
Can we keep that? No. Please!
So, does diversity matter on a campus like this? Profoundly.
Everyone is different, and that is what makes our world so beautiful, and you have something to learn from everyone.